Deep within every human being lies a battlefield of shadows and light. The wounds we carry, the betrayals we have faced, and the fears we have buried often whisper that life is nothing but a cycle of pain. Yet, the truth is that the power to end this suffering does not rest in the hands of others. It rests in the sanctuary of the self. The moment we dare to confront our deepest fears, we strip them of their power. The moment we refuse to be defined by the cruelty or rejection of others, we rise above the illusions of hurt. To step into this awareness is to claim freedoms, a freedom where nothing and nobody can pierce the armor of the awakened spirit. Today, let us walk into that realm where pain loses its grip, where our scars become symbols of strength, and where the self discovers a power so untouchable that hurt itself fades into silence. Pain is one of the strongest prisons a person can ever live in. It is invisible to the eyes, yet it binds the heart, the mind, and even the spirit in chains that feel unbreakable. Many people walk through life carrying burdens of past wounds, betrayal, rejection, or failure, not realizing that they are dragging heavy chains that were never meant to define their destiny. Pain will always try to remind you of what you lost, where you failed, and how others mistreated you. But the truth is you are not called to live under the weight of that bondage. Freedom is not just a possibility, it is a reality waiting for you to accept it. When pain whispers that you are broken, you have the authority to declare that you are whole. When suffering tries to dictate your future, you can rise with a voice that says the future belongs to peace, healing, and restoration. The chains of pain are not made of steel. They are made of lies that have been believed for too long. The moment you decide to refuse those lies, the chains lose their grip. What seemed like an immovable wall becomes nothing more than dust when confronted with the power of truth. You must understand that pain is not your identity. You are not what you went through. You are not the betrayal, the failure, or the rejection. You are far greater than the sum of all your struggles. Deep within you is the strength to rise above every disappointment and every wound. That strength does not come from your own willpower alone. It comes from the divine power within you that declares you are more than a conqueror. When you align your heart with that power, pain cannot hold you. Breaking free means making a decision today that the past will not control tomorrow. It means choosing to forgive, not because others deserve it, but because you deserve to live free. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks the door to peace. It breaks the shackles of bitterness and allows healing to flow like a river through the dry places of your soul. You cannot carry resentment and expect to walk in freedom. Release it, let it go, and watch the chains begin to fall. Pain thrives in silence, in secrecy, and in self-pity, but when you bring it into the light, it begins to lose its strength. Speak life over yourself. Declare that you are healed. Declare that you are strong. Declare that you are walking in freedom. Every word you speak in faith is like a hammer breaking away at the chains. The more you affirm the truth of who you are, the less power pain has to dictate your story. Freedom from pain does not mean you will never face challenges again. It means challenges will no longer control you. It means that even when difficulties arise, you will not bow to them. You will not be crushed by them. You will not surrender your joy to them. True freedom is the ability to walk through fire and come out untouched, because your spirit is anchored in a reality that is unshakable. There is a power within you that no circumstance, no person, and no force in this world can destroy. That power is the inner strength that was placed in you from the very beginning. Life may test you, storms may rise against you, and challenges may press upon every side, but there is a resilience inside that can carry you through it all. Too often, people look outward for strength, waiting for someone else to lift them, to encourage them, to make the road easier. But the truth is that the greatest source of power is already inside. It is the wellspring of faith, courage, and determination that never runs dry unless you choose to ignore it. Resilience is the ability to bend but never break. It is the quiet confidence that no matter how many times you fall, you will rise again. The enemy of your soul would like you to believe that once you are down, you are finished. But that is a lie. Every time you stand back up, you prove that your spirit is stronger than the weight that tried to crush you. Inner strength is not about never feeling weak or never having moments of struggle. It is about knowing that even in the weakness, a greater power is at work within you, renewing, restoring, and lifting you beyond the place of defeat. You have to make a decision to draw from that power daily. When the world says you cannot go any further, you declare that you will take another step. When fear tries to paralyze you, you remind yourself that courage is alive within. When discouragement knocks at your door, you choose to answer with faith. That is the essence of resilience, refusing to quit, refusing to be defeated, refusing to let temporary struggles define eternal possibilities. Inner strength is not just for surviving, it is for thriving. It allows you to face adversity and use it as fuel for growth. Every challenge you overcome adds another layer to your character, another level to your faith, another testimony of victory. What once looked like an obstacle becomes a stepping stone to greater heights. The very situations that tried to destroy you become the foundation on which your destiny is built. This strength grows when you feed it with the right thoughts, the right words, and the right beliefs. If you dwell on negativity, your inner strength weakens, but when you fill your heart with truth and your mouth with declarations of life, your resilience becomes unshakable. You are not called to live defeated. You are called to rise above the storms with unbreakable resolve. Resilience is not developed in comfort, but in pressure. Diamonds are formed under pressure, gold is purified in fire, and your character is strengthened in trials. Every hardship is an opportunity for your inner strength to shine brighter. Instead of asking why the storm has come, begin to declare that the storm will reveal the power within you. You are not a victim of life's battles. You are a victor who cannot be held down. Hurt is something every human being will face at one point or another. But what you do with that hurt determines whether it becomes a prison or a pathway. Many people allow wounds from the past to harden their hearts, closing them off from love, joy, and peace. They rehearse the pain, they relive the betrayal, and they repeat the disappointment until it becomes their identity. But you were never designed to live trapped in cycles of pain. Hurt is not the end of your story. It is the raw material that can be transformed into healing and growth if you allow it. Healing begins when you make a choice to release what has tried to destroy you. The power of healing is not in ignoring the pain, but in facing it with the knowledge that it does not have the final say. When you acknowledge the wound, but refuse to let it dictate your future, you take back your authority. Forgiveness becomes a weapon, not of weakness, but of strength. It is not about excusing what was done. It is about breaking the chain that ties you to that moment. When you forgive, you cut the cord that keeps you bound to the hurt, and suddenly the door to healing begins to open wide. Growth comes when you allow the lessons from your pain to shape you instead of shatter you. Every disappointment carries within it a seed of wisdom. Every betrayal can teach discernment. Every setback can cultivate patience. The very things that were meant to weaken you can become the very things that equip you for greater victories ahead. What once was a scar becomes a testimony. What once was a loss becomes the foundation for strength that others can see and draw encouragement from. You must understand that transformation is a process. Healing does not always happen in an instant, but each step you take away from bitterness and toward freedom is evidence of growth. Some days it may feel like you are still carrying the pain, but even in those moments, the healing power is working beneath the surface. Just as a seed buried in the soil does not show signs of life immediately, your growth may not always be visible, but in time it will break through. Instead of asking why you were hurt, begin to ask how you can be made stronger through it. Instead of letting your scars make you bitter, let them make you better. Your life can become a beacon of hope for others who are walking through pain when they see that you did not allow your wounds to define you, but to refine you. That is the beauty of transformation. It takes what was broken and turns it into something unshakable. It takes ashes and creates beauty. It takes sorrow and brings forth joy. You cannot stop hurt from coming, but you can decide that hurt will never have the last word, because the power of healing and growth is alive within you. Negativity is one of the greatest battles every person must face, because it does not only come from the outside, but often rises from within. Voices of doubt, fear, and discouragement try to convince you that you are not enough, that your dreams are impossible, that your failures are permanent. Add to that the opinions of people who speak words of criticism, envy, or disbelief, and it can feel like you are surrounded on every side. But you are not called to bow to negativity. You are called to rise above it with a mindset so strong, so unshakable, that no amount of darkness can overthrow it. An unshakable mindset begins with knowing who you are. If you let your identity be shaped by the words of others, you will always live in instability. One day they will applaud you, the next they may reject you. But when your foundation is built on truth, when you recognize that you are not defined by the world's opinion, but by the power within, you cannot be moved. Negativity may come, but it cannot uproot what has been firmly established in your spirit. You must guard your mind as you would guard a treasure. Every thought you allow to take root has the power to shape your reality. If you permit fear, it will paralyze your progress. If you allow bitterness, it will poison your vision. But when you fill your mind with life, giving words, when you meditate on faith, hope, and victory, then your inner landscape becomes a fortress that negativity cannot penetrate. The battle is won or lost in the arena of the mind. And the moment you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your destiny. Building this unshakable mindset is not about ignoring problems or pretending negativity does not exist. It is about confronting it with greater truth. When discouragement says you cannot, you answer back with I can. When fear says it is impossible, you declare that nothing is impossible. When failure whispers you are finished, you proclaim that you are just beginning. Your words carry power, and the more you speak in alignment with victory, the more your mind becomes unmovable in the face of adversity. This mindset is also strengthened through consistency. It is not built in a single moment of inspiration, but in daily discipline. Every morning you choose to set your mind on strength. Every time you encounter resistance, you choose to see opportunity. Every time you face rejection, you choose to see redirection. These choices, made again and again, form the unshakable character that negativity cannot erode. Remember that negativity is only as strong as the attention you give it. The more you feed it, the larger it grows, but the moment you starve it, it begins to die. Fix your focus on the light, and the darkness loses its hold. Train your thoughts toward faith, and doubt begins to shrink. Stand firm in truth, and lies cannot move you. That is how an unshakable mindset is built, not on shifting emotions, but on eternal principles that cannot be shaken no matter how fierce the storm becomes. To live fearlessly is to rise each day with the confidence that no wound, no rejection, and no past mistake has the authority to dictate your future. Fear is the silent thief that seeks to chain people to what once was, keeping them from stepping into what can be. It whispers that if you try again, you will fail. If you trust again, you will be betrayed. If you love again, you will be broken. But the life you are called to live is not one of shrinking back in fear. It is a life of boldness, freedom, and victory. Hurt may have visited your life, but it does not have the right to stay. When you recognize that pain is only temporary, but purpose is eternal, you begin to walk in a new kind of strength that cannot be shaken. Living fearlessly does not mean you will never face challenges or feel the sting of opposition. It means those challenges will not control your decisions. It means the sting of hurt will no longer govern how you love, how you dream, or how you believe. When fear tries to bind you, courage rises from within to declare that your steps are guided, your path is secured, and your destiny is unstoppable. Fear thrives where faith is absent. But when faith is alive, fear has no ground to stand on. To live beyond hurt is to take every painful moment and turn it into fuel for your journey. The betrayal that once cut deep becomes the lesson that sharpens your discernment. The rejection that once crushed your heart becomes the stepping stone to greater connections. The failure that once humiliated you becomes the foundation for resilience that no obstacle can destroy. Hurt cannot define you when healing has reshaped you. Scars no longer speak of defeat, they testify of survival and strength. Fearless living requires a decision each day to refuse to be bound by what others say or by what has happened before. It is the willingness to step out even when the outcome is uncertain, because you know the power within you is greater than anything against you. It is choosing to trust again, to believe again, to dream again, not because it is easy, but because you are no longer willing to let fear rob you of the life prepared for you. There is a freedom that comes when you stop rehearsing the pain of the past and start declaring the promises of your future. Fear has no place in a heart that is anchored in faith. Hurt has no grip on a life that is surrendered to healing. You were not created to live cautiously, hiding from disappointment, but to live boldly, demonstrating that nothing and nobody can stop the destiny that burns within you. To live fearlessly is to rise each day unafraid of hurt, unshaken by opposition, unstoppable in purpose, and unmovable in faith, because the power that carries you forward is far greater than the pain that once tried to hold you back. When you come to the end of this journey, you must realize one truth: nothing and nobody has the power to stop you unless you give them permission. The pain of yesterday is no longer your master. The chains of disappointment are no longer your prison, and the voices of negativity are no longer your authority. You are stronger than the storm, greater than the struggle, and more powerful than the hurt that tried to break you. Every scar is now a testimony. Every setback has become a stepping stone, and every tear has been transformed into strength. The time has come to walk in freedom, to rise in boldness, and to live with a fearless heart. You are no longer defined by what was done to you, but by the power that lives within you. From this moment forward, let your life be a declaration that hurt has no hold, fear has no place, and defeat has no claim. Step into tomorrow with confidence, knowing that you are unshakable, unstoppable, and unbreakable. Live with courage, walk in faith, and embrace the life of victory that was always meant to be yours, for nothing and nobody will ever hurt you again.